What's going on, guys? GloveSaveHockey here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the most recent contract extension in the NHL with the Los Angeles Kings and Adrian Kempe. So insider Elliot Friedman reported later on Sunday that Kempe and the LA Kings have agreed on an 8-year contract extension which will hold an average annual value of $10.625 million per season. So this contract in total over the 8 years will earn Adrian Kempe $85 million. He will be starting this contract at age 29 next year. It will expire at age 37. I'm not too concerned about it going to age 37 for Adrian Kempe, considering he's a really good skater, and that's something we'll get into in a little bit here. So if we're taking a look at contract breakdown, a full no-move clause in years 1 through 4 of this deal, a 15-team no-trade clause in years 5 through 8. The signing bonus, he's only getting a signing bonus in years 1 through 4, so it'll be $11 million a year for the first 3 years, and then in 2029, 2030, it'll be a $9.5 million signing bonus. So $85 million total, and he's getting about half of that in signing bonus, so pretty good for Adrian Kempe to get that signing bonus. If people don't realize, it is like lockout protected. Not saying there would be a lockout in 2030. He doesn't have the bonus in 2030 anyway, but you can kind of like decide, like, I want this paid out on July 1st, so there's a possibility Adrian Kempe will be making $11 million next July 1st. If we're looking at total salary for each year, seems like he's making $12 million a year for the first 4 years, even though the cap hit is 10.625, and then the salary goes down to 9.75 for 2 years and then 8.75 for the last 2 years. But the 10.625 is what will remain consistent on the cap throughout every season. But some players, especially of Kempe's status, can negotiate like, hey, I want $12 million this year, $4 million next year, etc. All right, so we're going to take a look at the LA Kings and kind of like how their cap is structured beyond this season. So if we're looking at cap projections for next year, the projected cap hit for the LA Kings in 2026, 2027 is $80 million, and they still have $23 million in potential cap space. We don't even exactly know where the cap is going to be going exactly. They will have 28 out of 50 contracts signed. A lot of times you can fill out like guys you've just drafted and sign them to ELCs, and it doesn't really take any effect on your cap whatsoever. 16 out of 23 NHLers are potentially signed for next year. So if we take a look, some guys that are expiring, Anze Kopitar, he announces this is the final year of his career. He will not be back next year. Andrei Kuzmenko obviously played really well last year. Kind of been not great so far this year. He was healthy scratched a couple nights ago. He'll be a UFA next year. Other UFAs, Corey Perry, Jeff Malott, Sam Helenius is an RFA. If we go on defense, Brant Clark is going to be another guy they're going to have to figure out and see what type of contract they're going to want to give him. Jacob Moverare is a UFA. And then both their goalies, in Darcy Kemper and Anton Forsberg, are signed until the 2027 offseason. So this contract puts LA in a pretty good situation, if you ask me. You might have to go out and somehow find another top 6 center if you can. Allocate some money to them. Allocate some money to Brant Clark. And if you go out and maybe replace Kuzmenko in some aspect, but with almost $25 million to spend, I think the LA Kings are in a pretty good situation heading into next year with their cap. So taking a little bit more of a deep dive into like Adrian Kempe and his overall game. So if you don't know much about Adrian Kempe, he plays like a high-tempo power forward. He's fast, direct, physical, and dangerous off the rush, while also being pretty reliable defensively for the most part. He's definitely like shoot-first mentality, and he's got a heavy, accurate wrist shot. With him being a power forward, he's really good at driving wide, cutting to the inside, and creating chances through the pace of play he plays. This year, his overall impact to the game is slightly down. It's not miles down. The defense is probably the worst that it's been since 21-22, sitting in the 25th percentile. Usually a lot better than that. He's usually a league average or above league average. Impacting the offensive game, look, 19 points in 18 games is definitely nothing to shy away about, but I think his overall impact hasn't been the greatest, and something that we've seen him do better in the past. He's putting up a point per game right now, and if we look in past seasons with Adrian Kempe, he's never really done that, besides in 23-24 when he had 75 points in 77 games, went down to 73 and 81 last year, but he didn't really get going until the 21-22 season when he scored 35 goals, then he scored 41, 28. He's got 6 so far in 19 games this year. I think he is going to end up putting up 30-plus goals. He's played in 649 career games, and with Adrian Kempe like not really taking off offensively until the 2021-2022 season, he hasn't really gotten a payday until now. He signed a 4-year contract a couple years ago for a $5.5 million cap hit. That's $22 million in total. Before that, he signed a 3-year contract at $2 million. So he's really getting his payday, getting $85 million over 8 years here, considering he had made under $30 million until this point in his career, and he's arguably a first-line winger in my opinion, if not a super solid second-line winger. So really happy for Adrian Kempe to get his payday and stay in LA. So one thing I like to do is look back on the year that these players were drafted after they signed contract extensions and kind of wonder, was this end up being a good pick? Was he kind of picked just exactly where he should be, or was this an absolute snag? So Adrian Kempe was picked 29th overall in the 2014 draft by the LA Kings, and I can tell you right now, I think he definitely should have went higher than this, looking at some of the names above him. He's currently within the top 10 of scoring in this year's draft, and as we mentioned, he didn't really start putting up like 60, 70 point seasons till a couple years ago, so that's why the points per game overall in his career like don't look that great, to be honest with you, but I think it is going to pick up over time here. Players that are ahead of him in accordance to producing points in the 2014 draft: Draisaitl, Pasternak, Point, Nylander, Reinhart, Larkin, Ehlers, Fiala, and Nick Schmaltz are the guys ahead of him. So I could see him potentially passing Nick Schmaltz soon. Not too sure if he will end up passing teammate Kevin Fiala. I guess it really depends how Fiala is. Adrian Kempe definitely should have been a top 10 pick in the 2014 draft. So taking a look at the LA Kings lines, obviously it doesn't change anything in accordance to this season, but I just wanted to point out like Adrian Kempe being their best winger, in my opinion, at least by a little bit, with probably Kevin Fiala being the second best winger at this point. I think this decision to re-sign Adrian Kempe was an absolute no-doubter, because imagine if you're the LA Kings going into next season and you lost Adrian Kempe for nothing in a free agency and Anze Kopitar had retired and you don't have a 1C anymore. The Kings would be in a really bad situation. This definitely makes it a lot better with Adrian Kempe re-signing in LA. So thank you very much for watching this contract extension breakdown between the LA Kings and Adrian Kempe. I will be completely honest, I was a little bit surprised when I saw this number. I thought after Marty Necas signing Kyle Connor, he'd be kind of in and around that number, between 11 and 11.5 million, but I think this is a really solid deal for the LA Kings and Adrian Kempe. I'm going to give it an A-. Like I said, even though he signed till 38, he might not be a stud at that point, but he is a really good skater, good power forward, produces well in the playoffs as well, even though the Kings haven't been able to get out of the first round. I think this contract's going to age really well, and Adrian Kempe is going to be really effective throughout the rest of his career with the LA Kings. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you haven't, please like and subscribe, and stay tuned for future videos.